Can you first of all introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Chino, Deftones.
First time in Europe?
Yeah. Actually, we played last year. We played a Roskilde festival, but that was the only one show we did, and that we flew in, flew out. So it's first tour here.
Like it?
Oh, I love it. You know, it's beautiful. The kids here are you know, really responding to the shows have been sold out, and they're a lot crazier, I think, here in the States.
Isn't it strange for you? I mean, you guys can see how your audience grows in the States because you guys play like lunatics every gig, wherever you can come or go. But in Europe, people know you only from your record, and I mean, you can't expect like half the crowd coming up.
I think it's a good thing, considering, you know, I think we're a live band. You know, I consider us a live band. So I think if they like our CD, I think they're going to love the live show, and so I feel a little bit more confident. You know, it gives me a little more confidence to come out every night. Plus, you know, everybody here is so supportive. You know, the minute you walk on stage, they're already cheering. So you know, they're not. It doesn't seem like they're here to critique you, but they're here to let you know that they're here for you to hear. You know what I mean? They're here to hear the music, and not just to be here for any type of scene or anything. You know.
There's a new album coming out for you guys.
Yeah, it's called Around the Fur. It comes out October 27th, I believe, over here.
Is the title has it got anything to do with the cover, with the sleeve?
No, it doesn't actually. I wanted to have that cover that they picked for the record. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's.
We checked the net, so there were wild speculations about this girl semi-dressed.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic, but it wasn't my first choice for its covers. I guess it was more like they gave us a bunch of different record covers to choose from. My actual cover had a girl in a fur coat on the cover. That's the choice I made. But the photos they took, I wasn't there for the photo shoot. I didn't really like the way they came out. So
don't buy the album.
It was
don't buy the album.
No. It was, you know, just they was just semi okay. So what they did was they had a bunch of different album, like 16 other, you know, covers that they made, just, you know, for us to choose from, and the one that we picked was one that most caught your eye, and it was, you know, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It kind of makes you think of, you know, what's going down here, kind of like it's off like a video camera kind of thing. So we chose that cover. Around the Fur was basically pertaining to actual fur, and around the fur being skin. So you look at it as the, you know, beauty and you know, and grossness. You know, it's ugly. It's pretty extreme. You know, measures of glamour and dirt. You know, that's the way I look at it. And that's the way I see our music. In some sense, in that way. You know, as being, you know, really harsh and ugly. But you know, you know, there's a lot of melody and a lot of beauty and a lot of, you know. So it's extreme. I think it's two extremes, you know, and put into one thing. So, you know, it kind of makes the harshness of the music soothing.
The first cover of your first album, Adrenaline, what's the thing on there?
Well, that was kind of somewhat of the same thing. I wanted, a lot of the music was really hard on the record, and I wanted to put something that's really, really pretty on the record cover. And that thing is a bulb syringe, and it's used when babies are born. They have them to clear out their throat and their mucus and stuff inside them. And actually, when you leave the hospital with a baby, you have to make sure you have that with you, because if the baby's choking, it's like you know, it can save their life. So it's somewhat of a symbol of life for a new baby. And just like, you know, I thought it'd be a really cool foreign object. People, you know, wonder what it is. When they found out it is, they found out something for a baby, and it's something so opposite from our music. So I figured, you know, people get that. The picture that they actually used for it, then again, was just like this time, it was my idea, but I wasn't there for the shoot. So the picture, it kind of looks blurry and you can't really tell what it is. I wanted a lot cleaner picture, but like time wise and everything, we didn't really have the time for it. So it's what it is. And
is it yours? Because you have a kid, right?
Yeah, I have two little boys. I have one who's 4 and one who's 4 months. So yeah, 2 little tykes.
Don't you miss them like hell?
Oh yeah, I mean, I miss them. I mean, a lot. It's hard, you know, to just being on the road for so long, and then you come home and you get close to them again, and then you have to leave again. So it's like, you know, that's the hardest part. Because when I go home, it's not like I could just go home and then it's like all normal. You know, you have to get used to being at home again, you know, and it usually takes a month or so to kind of get back into the life of being home, and then you already have to leave again. So it is kind of rough, but I'm very lucky to have a chance to be able to do this music, and at this scale especially. So I just think of it like that. It's all being done for a purpose.
On your new album, you did a song with Max Cavalera. How did you hook up with him?
Well, I met him through his stepson, Dana Wells, who passed away last year, and the song we wrote is actually about him. He was in a car wreck. I think it was a little over a year ago, and he was a dear friend of ours, and he's the one who introduced me to Max and and Gloria, and it was really cool to get in touch with him, because we've always been Sepultura fans, and Max was a fan of our music, so it was we used to always talk about playing shows together and everything. We always wanted to tour, but just time-wise we couldn't do it, so we always talked about doing something together. And then when Dana passed away, I was one of the pallbearers at his funeral, carry the casket, and it was a real hard time for us. So we all sat down and we figured we should really do something, make something out of this, positive. It's really hard to do. So we did was we just sat down and we decided that we were going to write a song together, and we took some of the lyrics from Dana's journal, which is like a diary sort of, and we just wrote some of our own lyrics and put some of his in there, and then we wrote the song in about a day and a half and recorded it, and it was beautiful. Max is really talented. I think he's a genius, what he does, and so to work with him was a privilege for me, and really inspirational. It was a good time.
There's also a DJ in your new album.
Yeah, he did a little bit on our last record too, but on the new record he adds mostly ambience. He doesn't do any scratching or any of that stuff. He just he's really eerie sounds and adds somewhat of just like fills up little holes here and there. And he's just a really good friend of ours, and he's in a hip hop group from California, so he does that thing, but they're called the Socialistics. So he does that, and then right now touring with us, he's just he just basically does what he did on the album live, and he's just a good guy. His name's Frank Delgado, and you'll hear it. It's one of those things where maybe you won't hear it on the first listen. 2 or 3 listens into the new record, you'll start to hear, what is that? Is that a guitar? No, that's not a guitar. Is that a keyboard? No, and it's like mostly really eerie sounds off. He gets all these weird sounds of old records and stuff. Nothing like no samples of like people talking or scratching or anything like that. Just really weird sounds.
What sort of music are you guys into actually yourself?
I'm into everything. I like all music. Anything that's passionate. I'm really into like real passionate, singers who are really bearing themselves. Mostly, I really like PJ Harvey a lot. I was just in the bus right now listening to her a lot. I just like the way she, croons and just lets, you could just almost see her voice, when you listen to her records. It's not too much that anybody who really has to have a good voice, but anybody who's really singing from their heart, and I'll just I'm a sucker for that, and it doesn't matter what kind of music it is, country or whatever, I don't care, as long as it's good. I like good music, period.
Because you guys, I ask you that because it strikes me that people who are innovative in some style or a genre of music always listen to a different style of music like the fans do.
Yeah, I think so. It's our guitar player Stefan, he's really grew up in the metal scene in music, so he's really into metal, and I would never really listen to that before. So when I got in a band with him, it was kind of weird, like that I had to learn, a lot about it. And I grew up mostly on first rap music, and then I got into new wave, and that was my thing forever. I loved like Depeche Mode and The Cure, and that was like my favorite thing. And then I kind of got into punk rock in a little bit, but I never really got into metal until being in this band. So at first I started kind of going with more metal stuff, and then I started to realize that, I should just sing the kind of music I like over the music that they're playing, and not do it so much to where it sounds like, oh yeah, he's singing like this or singing like this, but kind of mesh it all together and do it in a real natural way. So that's what I try to do. Like it's not like I think you listen to this and any song on a record, you go, oh yeah, Chino sounds like Morrissey right here, but if you but if you do listen to it, you'll hear a little bit of influences from that, but it'll be blended in with, maybe something like Pantera or something. It's just all the stuff that I listen to, and I just, I just like, and it kind of, I think it shows. I think all music is as long as it's genuine, and heartfelt, then it's good, So.
By now it sounds so logical to listen to music like that. I mean, it's almost accepted. People know, like, hey, yeah, sure, Helmet does it, Korn does it, whoever does it. But when you guys started out, it wasn't, the thing to do. So how did the fans or how did the people react? By now it sounds so logical to listen to music like that. I mean, it's almost accepted. People know, like, hey, yeah, sure, Helmet does it, Korn does it, whoever does it. But when you guys started out, it wasn't, the thing to do. So how did the fans or how did the people react?
Well, people didn't, I don't know if they knew how to react or whatever, I think they come to shows, I think they liked it, they thought it was good, but I think it just took some time, for people to get to understand, because I think like a lot of the earlier heavy music was heavy and just like aggressive and angry, and I don't feel that you really have to be, especially on the new record. Like I think I grew a lot from this record to the last record. The last record, a lot of the songs were written when I was a lot younger, and I was a lot angrier, and that's one of the easiest ways to let out emotion is through anger. And in the new record, I learned a lot of different ways to do it. And I also put myself in a more vulnerable position, at writing. So, the music is going to be heavy regardless. Having Stefan playing guitar. So I just figured, why don't I just come from where I feel. I'm feeling really vulnerable at the moment, and why don't I just put that emotion on tape, and it came out really natural, and it somehow fits with it. As to where like a lot of the older music was just straight heavy. I don't think anybody would really try that, to let themselves be vulnerable on such a heavy record, and which is kind of a hard thing to do without being, really too blatant about it or being cheesy. It's kind of, you just have to have the right person to do it.
Did you ever expect the Deftones to do that well? Did you care?
No, I think I just didn't really care. I think I always thought that we have potential. I still think we have a lot more potential to be better than we are now. But I don't think of it as this is the ultimate. This is whatever. Or I never try to make goals for us. I just figured if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And as long as we have fun doing what we're doing and stay true to what we do, and not try so hard to become something, then good things will come.
When did you guys and how did you guys got signed to Maverick?
Basically by accident. I mean, like a lot. There was some labels.
Madonna went up to the show and was like, "Hey guys."
Well, it wasn't Madonna. It was her manager, and he came and saw us play a few songs, and he right away he was like, "I want to sign you guys right now," and it was really, really just straightforward about it. He didn't try to do any ass kissing or whatever you call it. It was just basically just like, I really like your guys' band, and I want to sign you guys. And we were just like amazed by it, that he was just so straightforward, and they were just good, seemed like to be really level-headed people, instead of like some other labels were looking at us at the time, and they're kind of like, real wishy-washy about things. And Maverick was really down to earth, so we decided, this is the kind of label we want to be with, one who believe in our music right away. They don't have to say, well, let me hear you a few times, and they heard it right away, they liked it right away. And we knew that that's a label we wanted to be with, and we're lucky. And so far, all they have done is just, let us give us our space, let us do what we want to do, and that's all we can ask for in a record label, is to somebody who believes in you and believes that you will, succeed, and they can, if they can help us, they will. And their thing, I think their motto has been to just let us do our thing, without trying to push us in people's faces all the time by saying this is the next big thing or this is the next big band, or instead of just letting us grow on our own. And I think I still want to continue to grow. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard because right now there are a lot of magazines and press, people saying that, you guys are the next big sound of the year, you guys and Korn, and this is like a new big thing, and it's kind of hard to have that pressure on you when I think that we're just like any other band. I think we're a good band, but I still think we have room to grow, and I think the minute that people start putting labels on you that you're going to be the next big thing is when people start being more critical towards you, and and then your downfall is, seems like it's going to come sooner. And I really just, people just, look at our music for what it is, and without people, like making it such a big deal. You know what I mean? I think if you listen to our music, it is a big deal, but it's going to be a big deal because you believe it's big, not because people are telling you it is.
So how do you anticipate on that?
It's hard. I mean, I'm pretty humble. I try to be pretty humble about it. I don't like brag, or to try not to brag. I mean, I really do love our music. I really think it really is good.
So, because how many records did you guys sell, actually? I mean,
of Adrenaline, I think we sold. I think in the United States, I think a little bit over, almost 300,000 records, which is pretty good. I think worldwide, I don't know. I think it's actually really, really good, considering that we don't really get radio support or video support. The heavy music that's on our first record, it's not too mainstream. Our new record maybe a little bit has a little bit more maybe mainstream quality to it, I think, and I think that just has to do with us just growing as a band. But who knows? I mean,
like the scene or the heavy scene proves that you don't need radio airplay or magazine reviews or.
I think our record sales will prove that, and just, if anybody comes to any of our shows, they'll see that. I mean, almost every show has been sold out, in the UK, and then coming to Netherlands, and it's just getting. And we've never even been here before, so it's like to come here and play sold out shows. It just shows that that it's there's people that are there's an actual market. You know what I'm saying here, that is wide open for bands like us. So not saying that so go out and get a band that sounds like this so you can sell records, but I'm saying I think we are lucky to have that.
The next thing that probably will happen is that some magazine will discover a scene somewhere in California and will say...
Well, that's what they're doing right now. That's exactly what they're doing, and it's kind of, what I mean. I understand they're trying to to build it up and make a a big thing out of it, but it's just scary to me, because I've
Korn versus the Deftones.
Oh, yeah. It's just like it's just comparisons all the time. You know what I mean? And everybody wants to have their own identity, wants to stand on their own. Some people don't. Some people want to follow other bands. I'd rather just our band stand on our own. You know what I mean? Not no disrespect to any other bands. I'm happy for every band that comes up, but I wish that everybody can come up on their own, and then once we reach a certain level, then we can all you know what I mean, play shows together and everything. But right now it's kind of hard that we all, I want to play shows with Korn. We've played with them before, and they, we've always had a good time. They're one of the funnest bands to tour with. But if we keep playing with them all the time, it's gonna be like, okay, Korn, Deftones, here we go. This is like one thing, and it's gonna be hyped up, and then the next thing you know, oh, that's last year's thing, and then, you know what I mean? Then where are we gonna be? And I just figured if we all just kind of just stick together, but stand on our own 2 feet, then we'll be able to go a little bit further, I think.
Okay, one more thing. We were searching the net or the web, whatever you want to call it, for Deftones. We found this amazing fan page of this guy with like guitar picks with autographs and old pictures and whatever. How far does the fandom go with the Deftones?
The fans? Yeah. It gets pretty crazy sometimes. It's kind of weird, that happens too. I mean, I usually don't let it sink in, like think of it, oh, I'm a rock star, hey, whatever. But when you do sit back, sometimes you think about it, you go, man, this is weird. I'm just like my fans. I don't see myself as any different. So it's weird when they kind of put you up on a pedestal, and especially it's a little bit crazier, I think, in England. Like in America, if you jump in the crowd, they'll they hold you up and whatever. There they grab it. I mean, they rip off your clothes. I mean, I walk off the bus and people are like trying to rip off my clothes and try to get they steal your shoes and take my socks and everything. I'm like, hey, they're crazy, fanatic, and it's weird because you just got to say, well, this is a different culture. It's the way they do it. They're into music. I don't think they're into music more than they are in America, but it's just they're a little bit different about it. But yeah, it does get pretty intense sometimes. You
guys been to Japan yet?
No.
It's even crazier there.
Oh, sure, yeah, I heard it's crazy there too. They wait in the hotel lobbies and stuff. But I think we'll be going there after the new year sometime.
You guys get sponsored by Adidas.
Yeah, I mean, we've been sponsored for years, about 5 years now, and I actually, you know, I don't even really wear Adidas too much anymore. I mean, somebody gave me these shoes the other day just because, like I said, the kids stole my shoes in Europe. So, I mean, not London, where was it at? In Glasgow, I think, or somewhere. They stole my shoes, so I had to get a pair of shoes from Stefan, and you know, it's like, I think with the same thing goes back to the whole corn thing. I mean, like, you know, I've had Adidas for a long time, and it's hard. You know, now I can't really wear it on stage or anything. You know what I mean? Just for the simple fact, it's more of those comparison things, and it doesn't really bother me too much. I mean,
we're just wondering because you saw the whole crew packed with Adidas goodies, so we were like, hey, they must be endorsed too.
Yeah, I mean, we've been endorsed for years. It's a beautiful thing to get anything for free, but you know, I don't mind it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Hey, I'll wear whatever. Give me something for free, I'll wear it. I don't care.
Eat free at Ben's and Jerry's.
Ice cream. Oh, I get free ice cream. My little sister works at Ben and Jerry's ice cream shop. So when I'm home in California, I go there and get free ice cream.
You guys need a roadie?
Oh man, you want to go?
Please.
All right, yeah, definitely.
I'm off.